Welcome to your magic moon message. This is the peace dealer. The moon is in Sagittarius. The sun is in Aquarius. We have enacted 300 degrees of the sun and moon. 300 to 330 is the Aquarius signature. So we're in a sign of Aquarius with the signature of Aquarius, which is having us see the rewards of the previous Capricorn cycle in which we activated God power, which we do every year, but respective to Pluto, that has now begun to awaken a much more mental and causal facet of this process of supernatural awakening. Aquarius, in its 300-degree signature, is the point of completion of harvest, where we are, of course, coming into the rewards from what we harvested and who we divvy it up with. If the second house is gross pay or net pay, the second house is net pay, the 11th house is gross pay. So after the Capricorn signature established what we've accomplished, now this is not only having us complete the rewards before we go into the balsamic and then activate this new supernatural cycle, but the moon in Sagittarius is giving us an ascended understanding, a higher perspective relative to Gemini that helped us understand the thought process. And then in Virgo, we analyze that thought process. So Sagittarius is synthesizing that analysis to show us what and how the information we analyzed, what it means. Show us the meaning of that, hence giving us a higher perspective as we understand through the eyes of God. Okay? So that's what is showing us through this understanding. And with that Aquarius signature, it is showing us the rewards. The awareness of Aquarius, as we're awakening this higher knowledge of who we are and what we're doing, is going to now sequence this Aquarius signature by showing you, relative to this quality of cycle, what these rewards are, and everyone who belongs around you, who aligns with these values, and the awakening of this supernatural quality of frequency. And this is where the proximity to the sun, to Pluto, aligns this completion with this awakening of this next facet of the force through your mind, and will really do a number in shifting your perspective and understanding of what you're perceiving, or rather the meaning of what you're perceiving at this elite God level, to complete the full scope of not only seeing, but knowing. And this will be really great in preparation when we step into the new moon in Aquarius and activate this new knowledge. We can look at the new moon in Aquarius as stepping into a brand new library, where every year in Aquarius season and that new moon, we're entering the library with our favorite librarian. And, every year there's an update in the books in the library. Well, now this new moon has a brand new librarian. Some people think that they could be a serial killer. The librarian's kind of dark. The books in the library are substantially more themed around the occult. It's not the same library, and you could tell over the next 20 years that library is going to be a little different. So the moon in Sagittarius is showing you, who wants to subscribe to this bookstore or library now? You know what I mean? Like, who's really still gung-ho around visiting it? It turns out a lot of people. Yeah, this new library is kind of dark, but it's lit too. Like, it's really going to talk about stuff the previous librarians didn't want to open controversy up for. A lot of books that were banned in the library before, this librarian brought all those books back. It's a lot of taboo stuff. So like, this is not only getting ready to shift these dynamics, but the moon in Sag will also oppose Gemini in Jupiter, right? The ruler of Sagittarius. Jupiter in Gemini is now really expanding the number of books in that library. And the moon in Sagittarius is the search system that will help you understand how to look and search for these books. But remember, given that these cycles are expanding our vocabulary around how we are, of course, updating these information and topics, it's going to help you understand over the past 2 weeks what information you've recently come into. So this new moon in Capricorn cycle, like 4 weeks ago, where you're activating this God power, and through the full moon in Cancer, the sun actually went into Aquarius. Let's just say during that cycle, the moon going through Pisces and the sun in Gemini was you coming into that understanding that, oh wow, I don't have to let this person with smelly ass breath terrorize my nose, and I can take my power back and I can tell them to brush their goddamn teeth, And now that the moon is in Sagittarius, I am visibly seeing how telling them to brush their teeth, while it might offend them a little bit, has made them more aware that their breath is trash. And now this changes perspective. Now this opens the doorway for the next time we meet. And now my nose is not under threat of terror because they didn't brush their goddamn teeth. And a little bit of information goes a long way. And this is a way in which your perspective actively shifts, because you're always being updated with, changes in your behavior and how you see into meaning. Okay, so you're going to apply this vision and higher understanding into seeing not only how you have unlocked elite godly power in wherever that plays out in your life, your connection with the God, the universe, your connection with your own priorities in life, with where you're taking your life, but now tapping into an extraordinarily strengthened knowledge and certainty towards where this vision you're understanding you're getting ready to take, which will form greater beliefs. So that's really the coolest thing. This is one of the coolest moon and Sagittarius transits we're going to have, because this is also going to take into account the entire year since April of 2024, and you're going to see how much you've grown. The opposition to Gemini, like I mentioned before, is showing you the meaning of previous insight that had changed how you're beginning to think about the situation, so that now that you are seeing the fulfillment and meaning of what you're thinking, it adjusts your perspective to align with this expansion of your thoughts, right? But now the square to Pisces is also making sure that what you are seeing is aligning with what you believe, because you can believe something. I believe that my neighbor is a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, he always looks at me just really rudely. And then you actually talk to your neighbor, and now the moon in Sag is showing you, oh, I believe that my neighbor is a piece of shit, but they're just an asshole. They just act like a bitch sometimes. And now I'm adjusting my beliefs. Now I don't believe my neighbor is a piece of shit. They're just an asshole sometimes, primarily on Thursdays and Fridays. Okay, see how I have to adjust. Now, what I was believing, there could have been some truth into it, but now I had to adjust my beliefs relative to what I am understanding I see. And that's how to make sense of these mutable dynamics here, because it's very important. And now the trine, the Chiron, and Aries, in understanding this higher perspective, revisits ego vulnerabilities and, what can we say, wounds when it comes to who you identify as, and any kind of healing around the assertiveness of your character, by now coming into a higher understanding of what that looks like and how that can fuel more passion towards breaking through out of previous fears around how you carry yourself, and to adjust the direction you take in light of this higher perspective. Anyway, now that I've gotten the math out the way, yeah, you really just want to see this as the fulfillment of elite actions you have sowed, so you are seeing what you are reaping. The moon's going to go into Capricorn, and this shift of perspective through Capricorn is going to be applied relative to now how you feel you want to organize the Sagittarius perspective and what direction you're going to take it to release the transit. And then we're going to activate the most supernatural new moon of the year with the new moon in Aquarius. I'm going to shut this short. You guys stay blessed as always. Have a blessed weekend, and until next time.